Hey, Magic fans. Tricked you. Welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Capnclydes MTG. It's time for more leaks from Thunder Junction. And, do that subscribe thing. Help support the channel. Keep us sponsor free. Get in some giveaways. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're almost to 800. We're making some serious gains. Thank you all very much. Without further ado, let's do the do. All right. Resilient Roadrunner, red and 1 for a 2/2 haste, protection from coyotes. God, I love that. 3 colorless. It can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with haste. I swear to God, if there's a coyote in here called Wiley, I'm going to lose my shit. Anyway, great card. Has haste, only a 2/2. Probably not going to make it into Red Rush in any stretch of the imagination, but I got to say, I'm digging it. Really digging it. All right, we have the Nomad Possum because that's why does it have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Okay, I guess it's just 5 fingers. Anyway, green and 2 for this 3/3. Whenever Nomad Possum attacks while saddled, it gains +1/+2, so 4/5 until end of turn. You may then return any number of creature cards that saddle it to its owner's hand. So 3 mana 4/5 is not bad. If you got something that saddles for 1. Like a 1/1 that comes into play relatively cheap, or 2/2 or whatever, that's got good enter the battlefield abilities, this could definitely be a thing. Next we have the Sephiric Steed, green, white for a 2/2 first strike and lifelink. Wow, is that good for limited. Whenever it attacks while saddled, create a 3/3 white angel creature token with flying. Holy crap. It doesn't. The token doesn't go away, so if you could saddle this for 4, wow. And let's just be honest, a 2 mana 2/2 first strike and lifelinker is just phenomenal. This is probably going to see play in limited, maybe even standard. I mean, this is pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. Shifting Grift, 2 blue sorcery, has spree. So 2 blue and 2 colorless, exchange control of 2 target creatures, or for 2 blue and 1. Exchange control of two target artifacts, or 2 blue and 1, change control of 2 target enchantments. So this is a card that's going to let you exchange stuff. If you want to do it all, it's only 6 mana. Hell, that's not bad. I'm not going to lie to you. This is probably going to see play in limited, just because giving somebody a 1/1 for their big nappy is always a good thing to do. This might even see play in standard. I'm not even going to lie to you. All the Atraxas and shit floating around. I mean, what'd be better than give someone a little blue 2/1 flyer for their Atraxa? Yeah, I would do that. All right, next we have 3 steps ahead, 1 blue spree card. It's an instant, so blue, and then if you spree for an extra blue and 1, you can counter a spell, so basic counter spell. Or for a blue and 3, create a token that's a copy of an artifact or creature you control. Also blue and 2 colorless, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. All these are amazing. Oh my God. This is... I mean, it's not as good as Cryptic Command. However, it might be better if you got the mana. I mean, early game, it's just a counter spell for 3, and that's fine. Late game, it's disastrous for your opponent. I mean, 3, 6. If you have 8 mana, if you're lucky, you can counter the spell, create a token of your creature, and then draw 2 cards and discard 1. And if you don't, well, for 5 mana, you can counter a spell and draw 2, discard 1. Or for 6 mana, you can counter a spell and create a token that's a copy of a creature. This is just way, way too good. Since it doesn't hinge on a high mana cost to get all these abilities, you can pick what you want. All the spree cards are going to be great. Next, we have Binding Negotiation, black and 1 sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand, and you may choose a non-land card from it. If you do, they discard it. Otherwise, you may put a face-up exiled card they own into their graveyard. Opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a non-land card from it. If you don't, they discard. If they do, they discard it. Otherwise, put a face-up exiled card. Oh, okay. So this is a way to get rid of cards that have plot. That's what this is, along with the normal discard spell. So this might actually come in handy, depending on how good plot is once we actually start playing it. We have Malcolm, the Eyes. Oh, we've already done this one. We'll just skip it. Sorry. And we have the horse again. Boy, I'm getting really bad at this. Just kidding. All right, Bristly Bill, Spine Sower. We got more cacti. Plant Druid. Green and 1 for 2/2. Has Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Already good. For 2 green and 3, double the number of +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Wow, this just goes straight into a populate deck. Jesus. And plus it gets bigger itself from landfall. This is going to see play in all the formats. I mean, it's cheap enough to see play. This may... I hate to say this. This may take the place of Logoith. It's the same cost. It only starts as a 2/2. But hear me out. Landfall in a deck full of fetch lands means this becomes a 4/4 with one land and then a 6/6 with the second land. If they're both fetches. If one of them's a fetch and then one's a regular land, it's now a 5/5, already better than Lorgoith. Plus, it keeps growing, and you can 5 mana to double the counters. Probably going to happen in Modern. But, point being, this could be insanely good. Oh my god, could this be insanely good. Also, let's not forget, there's a deck right now that has a combo that pulls lands out of the graveyard, sacrifice themselves to the other lands, using these new Streets of New Capenna lands. And if this is the card you lay on turn 2, and then on turn 3 or 4, you lay that card that lets you get the cards out of your graveyard, you put 3 land into play from your graveyard, they fetch you 3 more land, all of a sudden this thing is an 8/8 on turn 8. Oh boy, it's going to be a thing. All right, next we have Prosperity Tycoon, a white and 3 for a 4/2. It enters the battlefield, you get a 1/1 red mercenary that can tap and give pluses. For 2, sacrifice a token. Prosperity Tycoon gains indestructible end of turn. Tap it. Probably just limited. I mean, 4 mana is a lot for what it's doing. Just gonna say that. We have Badmar. Anyway, New Blood, Rogue Vampire, black and 1 for a 2/2. Whenever you commit a crime, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And the ability only triggers once each turn as long as it has 4 or more +1/+1 counters on it. It has Menace and Lifelink. Blech. So, if this thing ever becomes a 6/6, not only is your opponent probably already dead, you're winning more. But no, seriously, this thing is going to be a hot card in Standard, Limited. Maybe not Commander because it might be too slow depending on when you draw it. But this is probably going to be a Standard All-Star, especially with black needing some good 2-drops. Next, we have Desperate Bloodseeker, black and 1 for a 2/2 with lifelink. Enters the battlefield, target player mills 2 cards. I mean, seen worse. Probably fine for limited. Next, we have Lone Shark. Oh my god, I can't. I just, with the picture, the face, I just can't. Anyway. Blue and 3 for this 3/4 enters the battlefield. If you've cast 2 or more spells this turn, draw a card. So I guess as long as this is your second spell, you get to draw a card off of it. Seems really good for limited. I mean, plus the ability to plot it so you can guarantee a card draw. Also good. Next we have Mirim, Herd Whisperer. Herd? Good to say horse. Anyway. White and green for a 3/2. As long as it's your turn, mounts and vehicles you control have hexproof. Whenever a mount or vehicle you control attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. That seems really good since she can she can mount any creature. Jesus, I'm sorry. Anyway, it's just good. We'll just yeah. Moving on. All right, now get that out of my system. Mobile Homestead, 2 colorless for a 3/3. Mobile Homestead has haste as long as you control the mount. Whenever Mobile Homestead attacks, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tapped. Holy cow, that's good. Cruise for 2. This is going to be an amazing limited card in all stretches of the imagination. I don't think it's good enough for Commander, but it's definitely playable. This might see some Standard play. Only because the ability to look at top card of your library and put lands into play for free on a card that's a 2-drop and cruise for 2, all that's easy to do. And it's a 3/3, so like there may be some shenanigans here that might be worth playing. Next, we have Hard Bristle Bandit. Green and 1 for a 1/1. Add 1 mana of any color, and whenever you commit a crime, you get to untap him, but it only triggers once each turn. However, still cool. Nothing better than killing your opponent's stuff for 1 less mana because you get to untap this guy. So, pretty good commander. Probably not commander. Pretty good in commander. Probably definitely gonna see some play in standard. If the ability to tap and untap him is a big deal with how the decks play out. It kind of is right now. Next, we have Free Strider Lookout. Green and 2 for a 3/3 with reach. When you commit a crime, look at top 5 cards in your library, put a land card from among them onto the battlefield, tap, put the rest of the bottom of the library in random order. Ability only triggers once each turn. Keywords there, each turn. This devastating 3/3 for a green and 2 with reach is insane. If you're playing red-green and you just start shocking your opponent on your turn, on their turn, and just start committing crimes left and right, and just dump cards onto the battlefield, it's gonna be disgusting. I think this is gonna have a lot of play. It's priced well. Yeah, this might even see some play in some of the Pioneer decks that combo off from things. I mean, the ability only triggers once each turn, but hell, that may be enough. Jeez. Next, we have Caught in the Crossfire. 2 red spree card for +1. It deals 2 damage to each outlaw creature. That's kind of cool. And for another +1, Caught in the Crossfire deals 2 damage to each non-outlaw creature. Okay, so it's kind of, you could choose or just deal 2 damage to everything for 4. I kind of like it. It might be okay in limited. It might be as far as it goes, though. I don't know. Visage Bandit. This ought to be interesting. Blue and 3, Shapeshifter Rogue. You may cast it and have it enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature you control, except it's a Shapeshifter and a Rogue in addition to other types, or you can plot it for a blue and 2. This is going to be huge in Commander. Plotting this thing so you can play it on your next turn and copying your sweet spells, your sweet creatures and all that good jazz. Yeah, just... this is going to be a thing. Going to be a good card. I'm going to be playing it in my Brawl deck. Wrangler of the Damned. White, blue, and 3. A 1/4 flash at the beginning of your end step. If you haven't cast a spell from your hand this turn, create a 2/2 white spirit creature token with flying. I mean, probably going to be good and limited because when you run out of gas, you can make free 2/2s that fly. But other than that, it's not doing a whole lot of things. Hang on a second. Let me read this again. If this is translated correctly at the beginning of your end step. All right, it's not every turn, it's the beginning of your end step. Yeah, so just once. It might be okay. Next, we have Fleeting Reflection. A blue and 1 instant target creature control gains hexproof to end of turn. Untap that creature. Until end of turn, it becomes a copy of up to 1 other target creature. I mean, it's fine. Could be a removal spell. It's probably just a limited card at best. Next, we have Lassoed by the Law. White and 3 enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until Lassoed by the Law leaves the battlefield. Okay, removal. When it enters the battlefield, you also get a 1/1 red mercenary. Fair. Probably just limited. Costs too much, but it is removal for limited. We got Bonnie Pale Clear Cutter. Bonnie Pale Clear Cut. Can we just say Paul Bunyan? Can we just do that, please? Just anyway. 2 blue, a green, and 3 for a 6/5 with reach. When it enters the battlefield, create Bew, a legendary blue ox. God, this is such a ripoff. Just called it Paul Bunyan. This creature's power and toughness is equal to the number of lands you control. That's good. Whenever you attack, draw a card, then you may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield. Wow, it's so. So the cool thing about this is like a Titan, but better. Because here's the thing. Not only is the Ox huge, because if you play this on turn 6, it's a 6/6. But not only that, notice here it says, whenever you attack. You don't have to attack with this card. You could have 1/1 tokens that attack to draw cards and put lands into play for free. This is going to be sweet, especially in blue-green decks that want to ramp fast or do ramp fast. Like this is going to be cool in Commander. And if you play this in Limited, Lord have mercy on your soul for what people are going to think of you when you beat the tar out of them with this. Next, we have Aloe Alchemist. So green and 1 for a 3/2 trampler. Whenever it becomes plotted, target creature gets +3/+2 and gains trampled in a turn. That's actually a good card. And also what I look like after the summertime, because I am ginger as hell and I am definitely going to get aloed up. Anyway, 2 mana 3/2 is already good. The ability to cast it and then basically giant grow something for free and give it trample is just a great bonus. I think this will see standard play and definitely limited play. So next we have the Thunder Lasso. Oh, yes, BDSM. Anyway, white and 2 artifact equipment. When the Thunder Lasso enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. It seems pretty bad. Limited at best. Bad. All right, we have Bruce Tarls back, the Roving Rancher. White, red, and 2 for a 4/3. Auction you control have double strike. That's just funny. Whenever Bruce Tarl, Roving Rancher, enters the battlefield or attacks, exile top card of your library. If it's a land card, create a 2/2 white ox. Otherwise, you may cast it until the end of your next turn. This guy's really good for 4, I ain't gonna lie. Probably won't see a whole lot of play because he doesn't do a whole lot because there's not really enough oxes to abuse. That just sounds wrong. But anyway, probably good for Commander. Next, we have the Outcaster Greenblade, green and 2 for a 1/2. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card or a desert card. Reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle. It gets +1/+1 for each desert you control. Okay for limited, depending on how many deserts you get. Unless there's a desert deck, I don't see this being all that hot. I mean, there's better ways to get land. I'm just going to put that out there. We have the Stubborn Borrow Fiend, green and 1 for a 2/2. When it becomes saddled for the first time each turn, mill 2 cards. It gains +X/+X to end a turn, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Saddles for 2. Okay, I mean, probably good and limited, except for that whole mill thing. You may just mill yourself out and die. But you could also pump your creature to enormous sizes. And the ability to mill yourself may be something you're looking for in a standard environment, so might see some play. It's doubtful, though. We have Riku of Mini Pass. I haven't seen this guy in a while. Red, blue, and green for a 3/3. Whenever you cast a modal spell, choose up to X, where X is the number of times you chose a mode for that spell, i.e. spree cards. Just putting it out there. Exile top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play it. That's sweet. Put a +1/+1 counter on him. He gains trample, or create a 1/1 blue bird creature token with flying. I mean, this is probably going to be a Commander thing. It's probably going to be cool. Not even going to lie. I like it. Next we have Kellen joins up. So, white, blue, and green. Wow, this is an expensive one. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile a non-land card, mana value 3 or less from your hand. If you do, it becomes plotted. Okay, so you get to free cast something off of it. Whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. I smell shenanigans in this one, especially in Commander. Oh, daddy. Ooh. Come to Papa. Yeah, I like that. All right, next we have the Lively Dirge. Black 1, and it's a spree card. So black and 2 colorless. Search your library for a card, put it in your graveyard, then shuffle. Seems not good. Black 1 and 2 more colorless. Return up to 2 target creature cards. Total mana cost. Total mana value 4 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I mean, in limited is going to be good, but I don't think it's going much further past that. Longhorn Sharpshooters, red and 2 for this 3/3. As reach, when it becomes plotted, it deals 2 damage to any target. That's Not bad. Good for limited. The biggest problem is it plots for 4. 2 mana for 4, not that great. I mean, it's worth it to plot it because then you're getting your shock for 1 red and then 3 colorless for a 3/3 with reach, which is actually a decent deal, but probably just a limited all-star, to be honest. Next we have, oh, look at that. It's Marcheska, Dealer of Death. God, she looks good. That is close to what I thought she'd be wearing, but I kind of wish she was wearing something else. I think you know what I'm getting at. She's in a bar. Anyway, red, black, and blue for this 3/4. Already a good rate. Whenever you commit a crime, you may pay 1 colorless. If you do, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand, the other into your graveyard. That was less dramatic than I thought it would be. I mean, still good, but that could have been better. All right, moving on. Next, we have Roxanne, Starfall Savant. Boy, it looks almost like an anime art. Red, green, and 3, Legendary Cat Druid. We're reaching now. Whenever Roxanne Starfall Savant enters the battlefield or attacks, create a tapped, colorless artifact token named Meteorite with, when this enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to any target, tap for 1 mana of any color. Okay? Whenever you tap an artifact token for mana, add 1 mana of any type that artifact token would produce. Well, this is going straight into the Kinder Bonner deck in Commander. I mean, unfortunately, it has red in it, but this may be good enough for a Commander itself. I mean, it is 5 mana, but the ramp on this is nice. Next, we have Archangel of Tithes, Hello reprint. So 3 white and 1. If you guys don't remember this one, it's a 3/5 flyer. As long as it's untapped, creatures cannot attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays 1 for each. As long as it is attacking, creatures can't block unless their controller pays 1 each for them to block. Powerful card last time it was in Standard. It's going to be powerful again in New Standard. Great for limited. And a little something special for them Commander players out there playing Angels. Next, we have the Aven Interrupter. 2 white and 1 for a 2/2 flash flyer. When it enters the battlefield, exile target spell, it becomes plotted. Spells your opponents cast from graveyards or from exile cost 2 more to cast. Wow, is this good? So you can interrupt a spell to make them plot it and spend 2 mana next time to cast it. In Commander, it makes commanders cost 2 more to cast. If you're playing anything you're doing something from exile, it makes it more to cast. This is the new Aven Fisher. Aven, I think it's Fisher. I don't remember. That when it comes in, you can't search your decks. You have to top so many cards. Like, I know it's 2 white and 1, and it may be a bit much for some things in some formats, but in Standard, in Commander, especially with new plotting abilities, this is insane. Also, don't forget cards from exile is not just commanders or plotted cards. There's cards that you can put into exile by other means, which will make them cost 2. That could be anything from cards that are put out with time counters to cards that are, what's the other ability? You put it into exile and you cast it for something cheap later. I can't remember now. Anyway, this has lots of playability, guys. If you play a Commander, I'd definitely pick one of these up. Now we have Servant of the Stinger. This art's awful. Maybe it'll grow on me. Kind of like this thing. Anyway, black and 1 for a 1/3 Death Toucher. Already good for limited. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, if you've committed a crime this turn, you may sacrifice the Stinger. If you do, search your library for a card, put it in your hand, then shuffle. All right, I may have been a little hasty in that conversation. The old Diabolical Tutor is so good. And it's a 1/3 Death Toucher, which means they're going to block it because they don't want you to go get whatever cards you want. And as a 1/3 Death Toucher, they're going to have to use something really good to kill it. Just putting that out there. I think this may see some play. in limited and standard. We have a Tomb Crawler, 2 colorless for an 0/4. For 2, put target card from your graveyard and bomb your library. It's a basic reprint of a card like that. Unscrupulous Contractor, black and 2 for a 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a creature. When you do, target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Plots for 3. Okay. This is a decent card. Probably gonna be pretty good in the Aristocrats style build. Also, I mean, it says target player. I mean, you can use it for removal if you want your opponent to draw 2 cards, lose 2 life if they have a creature you need to get rid of. So there could be some serious play in this in standard, let alone limited. Next, we have Spinewood's Armadillo, 2 green and 4 for a 7/7 with reach and ward 3. Because apparently there's too much room in this text box. There's also a green and 1. You can discard it, search your library for a basic land card or desert, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle, gain 3 life. That does a lot. Just gonna put that out there. All right, next we have Congregation Griffin, white, green, and 1 for a 1/4 flying lifelinker. Whenever it attacks while saddled, it gets +X till end of turn, where X is the number of mounts you control. That could be a thing in limited. Nothing but mounts, and this thing just becomes a... If you have 3 mounts out, this is a mount, by the way. Just gonna put that out there. So this is technically, when it attacks, a 2/5 with lifelink and flying. And if you're mounting this with other mounts because you have extra mounts, want to mount your mount with some mounts. Anyway, moving on. This thing gets out of hand quick, and in limited, it's going to be very powerful. This may be a good sideboard card in standard if aggro becomes a serious thing and red and white-green becomes a deck, because life gain could put a serious kibosh on that stuff. Next, we have At Knife Point. I think we've already seen this one. Black, red, and 1. As long as it's your turn, outlaws you control that first strike. And whenever you commit a crime, you get a 1/1 red mercenary. It's fine. Next, we have Arid Archway. So land, desert, enters tapped. When it enters the battlefield, return a land you control to its owner's hand. If another desert was returned this way, surveil 1. Tap, add 2 colorless. Hello, Nurse. Mana ramp for any color. The ability for you to pick up a land and put an omen in play. The fact that it says return a land you control to owner's hand. If you have, I'm just gonna put it out there. If you have the Mystic, not Mystic Gate, what the hell is it? That common from Modern Horizons, when it comes into play, if you have 3 islands or whatever. You get to put a card from your graveyard on top of your deck and then redraw it like a Time Walk. With this, you can pick that land up and play it again. This, not to mention, it has the mana ramp. It's basically a bounce land, so you don't lose mana. It lets you surveil. Like, there's nothing but good things about this. And if there's a desert deck, this is definitely going to be in it. It's not legendary. I think this is going to be the sleeper of the deck. I'm calling it now. Or of the set, sorry. Next, we have Wander Between Worlds. 2 blue and 3 sorcery. Each player may shuffle their hand and graveyard in their library. Every player who does so draws 7 cards, and then you exile Wander Between Worlds. You can plot it for 2 blue and 4. Been a long time since they've reprinted Time Twister. Just saying. Wow, is this good? Because you can plot this and just put it in your back pocket for when you're ready. I don't even know what to say. If you don't know how good Time Twister is, or you don't like Time Twister, I think you need to reevaluate how you rate your cards, because this is some stuff, right? Ooh, boy. Yeah, good times. Next, we have Grinning Robber, black and 3 zombie rogue. Whenever it enters the battlefield, if a creature dies this turn, you also get a 2/2 blue and black zombie rogue token. And you can plot it for a black and 2, which is pretty good for a 4/3, not going to lie. Also allowed you a time to untap so you can kill something and get the extra creature out of it. This definitely seems good enough for standard just because of what it does. I mean, turn 3, plot this. Turn 4, kill their creature. Cast this for free. Also get a 2/2 and then have a 4/3. Amazing for limited just because of the same reason. Like, This, I think, is going to be something we see in a lot of black decks. Next, we have Eartha Joe, Frontier Mentor. What is with that face? What my lord? Red, white, and 2 for a 2/4. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you get a 1/1 red mercenary that target creature gets +1/+0. Whenever you activate an ability that targets a creature or player, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. Wow. That's something. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to abuse this. Everything from copying creatures because you have a artifact that lets you copy creatures, to the mercenary giving +1/+0, to untapping a creature that maybe gives you mana, so you can then stack it, so you can get mana off of it, untap it, get mana off of it, and untap it. Like, there's all kinds of shenanigans here. Although weird to see it with white-red, but hey, dude, I mean, I guess they need their thing too. Next we have High Noon. That's right, this enchantment for a white and 1. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. Boy, that's been a minute. And for a red and 4, it deals 5 damage to any target when you sacrifice it. This seems like a really good card. However, it's probably only sideboardable in standard, but it will stop aggro decks, or at least slow them down. And the ability later to deal 5 damage to any target could definitely be relevant as a removal spell. So this may see some play in standard. But in limited, definitely good. Because, 4 mana kill stuff. Next, we have the Crafty Coyote. Why couldn't they call it Wily? Oh. Red and 1, Coyote creature. Whenever this enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +1/+1 and haste till end of turn. Plots for 2. This is better than the Roadrunner. And that's normally not how that worked in the cartoon. But hey, whatever. Yeah. 3/3 for 2, and then a 2/2 thereafter. This is good enough for Red Rush, in my opinion, and I think we're going to see it in many decks like it. So, with that said, we're going to end on old Wily Coyote, super genius. If you don't know what that means, I don't know, just go watch old Looney Tunes before shit got weird and, they decided that violence is the reason in cartoons is the reason why we can't cope with things instead of... Anyway, let's not get into this TED Talk. So until next time, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, be kind. And as always, I hope to see you crossing the game table. Oh, get that Roadrunner.